Apple is being insanely petty to Fortnite right now. I feel that it's time that we finally talk in depth about what's going on with Apple and Fortnite, because the situation right now is honestly just super petty. Like, straight up, Apple is super salty towards Fortnite, and it's actually affecting the game for a lot more people than just mobile players. Now, this has been going on for a while now, but the latest update delays have brought it back into the spotlight. So let's break down what is actually going on and why Apple is kind of like, in a way, in my opinion, kind of holding Fortnite hostage. And it would have been really easy for Fortnite to kind of back down to Apple, but they didn't do that. And I'm actually really proud of Epic Games and how they are standing their ground right now. So real quick, for those who do not remember, back in 2020, Fortnite got kicked off of the App Store because Epic tried to bypass Apple's in-app purchase system. That turned into a massive lawsuit where Epic basically accused Apple of having an illegal monopoly, and Apple fought back really hard. That was when we got the bad Apple skin with the challenges and everything, and they released that video and talked about how Apple was completely blocking, billions of devices from accessing Fortnite and tried to garner all of this support. There were all types of court battles. Epic Games appealed it multiple times, the court's decision, all of that, and it got super duper messy. In the end, both sides kind of took some hits, but Apple definitely was not happy with how it all played out because Epic Games was allowed, given the rights to get back on Apple and all of these devices that they were originally banned on. Now, fast forward to today, Epic is finally trying to bring Fortnite back to iOS through the App Store, but here's the thing. Epic submitted Fortnite for Apple's App Store review into their App Store, and Apple hasn't responded. They review it to make sure it meets all their terms of service, whatever, and then they approve it. Normally it takes around 24 to 48 hours for Apple to review an app and say yes or no, this isn't going into the App Store. There's been no approval, there's been no rejection, just complete radio silence. Now, this whole approval delay is what caused the latest Fortnite update to get held back until today, early in the morning tomorrow. It almost got delayed again just because Apple was dragging their feet. According to Tim Sweeney and a bunch of other people who work at Epic Games, there are no updates and there's been no progress made or any word from Apple about why exactly this review process is taking so long. And that really sucks because not only are people who want to download Fortnite not able to right now, but it also delayed a lot of people from getting General Grievous today. And even though it's not that big of a deal that it was a 1-day delay, come on, that's really not that big of a deal, and I understand that, but it still does go to show how much control some of these companies and app stores have over Fortnite, and they really could have delayed this even more and kept delaying it, because what Fortnite has to do is when they're in the process of reviewing this app, right? That was the version, before the update that's coming out tonight. And if a new update comes out, then they have to submit an entirely new version to get reviewed again, and they have to start the process all over again, which just, helps Apple drag their feet and take a lot longer. So that's why they delayed it the first time, to give them extra time just to review that version, and then once they reviewed it and got it in there, they would update the game, and that's what they thought was going to happen, but it clearly didn't. So here's my take on it. Yes, I think Apple is being 100% petty, and I think what they're doing is stupid. They lost a battle with Epic, and now they're slow walking everything related to Fortnite out of spite, because to be honest, if I was a company, even though, I'm doing something, somewhat illegal, I'd be kind of mad if another company sued me like crazy like they did. If I were Apple, I wouldn't rush to help the company that tried to publicly drag me through the court either. Still, it is frustrating, especially for all of us players. This is just corporate drama overall, and we're the ones dealing with the consequences. This seems to happen a lot where companies will get into drama with other companies, and then the players are the only ones that actually take the hit from it. One thing I do want to give Epic credit for is that they didn't delay the update again. Tim Sweeney came out today on Twitter and said that them dragging their feet and not, approving it in the review process or giving them an update was putting the update in jeopardy of being delayed again. Now, they could have waited another few days just to keep things clean across platforms, but instead they're dropping it tomorrow and said, you know what, we'll deal with Apple later. And I think that was the right call. There's no reason players on other platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, should suffer just because Apple wants to be petty when it comes to putting it on iOS app stores. But will Fortnite ever come back to iOS? And this is a really big question. I think eventually Fortnite will come back to iOS, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. It's going to be on Apple's timeline, not Epic's. They're the ones that ultimately decide. If they don't want it on there, they don't want it on there, and there's really nothing wrong with that. They're probably going to make Epic wait as long as legally possible, and maybe even throw some extra roadblocks along the way. Not exactly sure what they would do, but with everything that's going on, and with all of the drama, the legal stuff, the lawsuits, everything, I do think that it will eventually come back to the App Store. Apple obviously isn't happy about it, but it is going to come back eventually, just not very soon. Overall, I think this is really ridiculous, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you guys think Apple is being petty, or do you feel that they are justified in doing this? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video if you did enjoy. You watched watched all the way to the end, you must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT in the Fortnite item shop to help support me further, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.